And welcome back. And we are now at part 3 of this last week's new comics, bitches! Sorry. Okay, so kicking it off, we're going to go to Deathstroke, number 3. And, you know, if nothing else, Joe Bennett is really doing exceptional work on the art in this book, but it all really comes down to, I shouldn't say it all, I mean, because you need a good artist as well as a good writer to make a really good comic, and Kyle Higgins is writing the shit out of this. I mean, one of the first note that I wrote was badassery abounds. I mean, it's just, you know, this is, you know, the title for, you know, kind of like, you know, other than, you know, as far as like evil characters are concerned, you know, Deathstroke is kind of like the Batman of the, you know, the bad guys in the DC universe, because he is just like the ultimate badass. I mean, he can do anything, it seems like. I mean, he's just going, you know, toe to toe with some really, you know, I mean, the last issue was just, you know, was epic with his battle with the big robot and the helicopter and everything. And now he's, you know, he's fighting all these, you know, slicing people's heads in half, and, you know, I mean, it's just, there is no holds barred in this comic. This is a comic. I'm almost surprised that some of these issues are not getting like you know, mature readers advisory. I mean, yeah, it's teen plus, but I mean, there's some pretty graphic killing in this particular comic. But it's a new age. Or, you know, I'm sure if they slipped in a, you know, like a bad word, or, you know, like a female, you know, buttock or nipple, then I'm sure this would have mature readers slapped on it. But since it's violence, it's okay. But, you know, while the scenes of all the crazy action and bloodletting are, you know, they really take center stage here as far as the action is concerned. You know, Higgins is, you know, he's doing a much better job at conveying Deathstroke's persona just beyond that of being this kind of killing machine. You know, Deathstroke the Terminator. But he's not, you know, a metallic Terminator like we might otherwise think of. And we'll get to that in a second. But he's, you know, he is still a mortal man. He does have, obviously, these, you know, a lot of enhancements. But, you know, he is more than just, you know, this killing machine. He is a human man who has pride, and that is really coming to bear in this particular comic. So, be very, very interesting to see where Deathstroke goes from here. And, you know, again, as I was saying, this book has some of the most creative kills I've seen this side of a mature reader's rating. So, again, you know, I know that I'm kind of harping on that. So this is, you know, this is a 4 out of 5. Again, you know, very solid work. So, looking forward to more. Terminator ROBOCOP, Kill Human, number 4. This was a big surprise to me when I first started reading it. And it still continued to surprise me. I mean, there are beats in this comic that I would have never seen coming. So, I mean, the one kind of complaint that I had, well, I have a couple of complaints about this particular issue. P.J. Holden's art isn't terribly good. It's a little sketchy, and, you know, just seems a little, meh, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the fact that, you know, in recent, you know, he's gone, you know, the RoboCop has gone back in time to before, you know, before Dick Jones became like the ultimate villain of OCP, and actually is kind of a good guy, and he helps, you know, RoboCop kind of set the stage for this, you know, this confrontation with the Terminator. So, but a lot of really unexpected things happen in this issue, and it's really kind of disturbing, really, what happens. I mean, it's but I got to be honest, I'm not even really sure what happened here. If this meant, okay, well, this is the death of the Resistance, and kind of the Terminator did win, or is it not? I don't know. That's the whole thing. Is that there's not really. I don't know. Maybe I need to read it again because I've read it twice already, and it's still like I don't really understand what just happened here. But John Connor is, this is back when it was basically in the era of Terminator 2. But but John Connor is killed by the T-1000 in this, and it's like, okay, but ultimately, what I see that RoboCop is trying to destroy everything that Skynet might become, and I get that, and maybe there's no need for John Connor in the future. But it all goes back to the first issue where he killed, where RoboCop killed the last human being on Earth, and helped with basically was complicit in Skynet's genocide. But so I mean, I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. The one thing that I thought was really cool about this issue was the Lightstorm air plane that crashes into the that crashes into the fucking that crashes into the aircraft carrier. I thought that was that was pretty clever. And again, the art was just it was pretty sloppy. So I mean, I'd give this at most a 3 out of 5. Probably closer to a 2.5 out of 5. Because it just wasn't, I don't care that it wasn't the payoff that I was expecting. I like being surprised, but it just seemed just a little too confusing for me. So again, maybe I'll read it again and I'll think that it's better, after another read or two. Okay, moving on. Huntress, number 2. I gotta say, again, I love the art in this miniseries. I like the character of Huntress, of Helena Bertinelli, or Helena Bertinelli, but and Paul Levitt's kind of stepping down from his throne, as it were. It's not really his throne, but to actually write a comic. Is pretty cool. John Dell doing the colors. It's a strong comic. It's pretty damn good. I'm confused though, because I understand what Helena is trying to do as far as stopping the sex slave trade and everything like that, but I'm not sure what she's doing, like how she's doing it, like what her kind of grand plan is, because the issue just seems like it's filler. Like this, they could have, like this issue could have easily been edited and scaled way down to fit into like another issue. I think there's just too much filler here. So that was the thing that kind of disappointed me about it. So I mean, it's nice that it has this kind of globe-trotting feel that she's in Rome. But again, I'm not there's no real suspense. There's no real feelings of, okay, what's going to happen now, like I felt in the first issue. So I mean, it's a big momentum killer. Is basically was my biggest complaint about this issue. So it's about 3 out of 5. Again, it's a good series, but this issue, like I said, it's just too much filler. Could have been much better. Okay, so moving on. So we've got Point One, Marvel's Point One. So this is what's four stories, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry. So we got we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories plus a bookend. We basically got Nova, kind of reintroduction to Nova, and ultimately the we have here, the coming of Phoenix again. The thing that will eventually kind of rip apart the fabric of the Marvel Universe and will cause everything to start over. Essentially, the whole premise kind of sounds like Zero Hour from the 90s that DC did with Parallax, or with, Hal Jordan becoming Parallax and reducing everything back to its 0 issues. So that's, that was Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness. And we've got an Age of Apocalypse, again, David Lapham doing this. This was an interesting, this was a really interesting story. The Nova is kind of a throwaway, because it's just not very long. It doesn't really say a whole lot except setting up that the Phoenix is returning. However, the Age of Apocalypse, I'm not a fan really almost at all of anything Age of Apocalypse related, but this was a pretty strong story. I kind of appreciated what they were trying to tell here, and I just thought it was cool. We've got Cold Moon and Dragonfire. I'm assuming these are new characters, kind of yin and yang. That's Fred Van Lente, Salvatore LaRocca doing the art there, which is basically about these two twins that from basically birth they've been raised to be weapons. One of them has cold powers, one of them has heat powers. They're supposed to stay apart, but of course they come together, and now they could be almost unstoppable. And they kind of intervene in this this big battle with the Avengers and everything like that. And they're basically talking about this this corporation that is trying to do all this stuff, all this evil stuff. And then we've got, potentially either new members or a setup for their own series. Then we've got, Doctor Strange, Matt Fraction writing, Terry Dodson doing the art, and how it's, setting up all sorts of kind of new messed up stuff for the, basically setting up the Defenders comic that's going to be coming. And there's just some interesting stuff going on here. I like it when Doctor Strange gets involved. And then we have this kind of finale, which is the Age of Ultron. Of course, that's Bendis and Brian Hitch doing that. That was a really interesting comic, and I'm wondering what the ultimate payoff is going to be here. If this is, because the bookend here that's written by Ed Brubaker is about Uatu, the Watcher, and he's constantly looking at kind of like these shattered universes, whatever, and how some of them might not even take place. Basically, these are taking place in different ages, in different eras, and in different universes. He could be seeing the past, the present, the future, or alternate universes. They don't know. These basically, like these two people that, these two beings that are studying Uatu while he's kind of sleeping, in this kind of weird, like 42-minute hibernation period that they have every however many years. That was like kind of the most interesting story to me, because these characters, these beings, they seem to be stealing information from the Watchers so that they can kind of gain ultimate power. So that to me was kind of the most interesting of the ideas going on here. So I mean, like I said, I don't know if Marvel really plans on doing the whole kind of renumbering, basically trotting out DC's what they just did. I'm hoping that they don't. I'm really hoping that they don't. I don't want them to reset everything to 0 and start a whole new universe from scratch. I mean, that's what they have the fucking Ultimate Universe for. So don't do this, Marvel. I'm begging you. So, but all in all, that was a 4 out of 5. Very good read. So stick around, and we're going to come back with our last segment, and I'll talk about the book of the week. So stay tuned.